Let's take line 5, Min in California. Hey, Min.
What's up?
If Min will drop it. There we go. Hey, Min, you're talking to Eric and Ethan. What do you want to talk about today?
Hello, guys. So today I would love to discuss with you about how do you deal with, the hardship in life or, grief and sufferings from the secular humanist point of view. Because I don't see that a lot, in that philosophy. So I was curious, what would you do?
Well, I would cry probably, if I was grieving. I would.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, grief is so different for all of us that the way we grieve, if I were to lay out what I thought the best way to grieve is, that would invalidate a lot of people. I think that a lot of deconverting, a lot of what I've gotten out of becoming an atheist is learning that, my grief and the grief of others is valid, and that the way they grieve is entirely unique to them, and it's wonderful, but it takes time and it hurts, and it can be benefited by others. Not always, but it helps. I think that one thing religion has and has had for a long time is a community. Being a part of that community can really, really help. They can be a bit of a safety net under you. And it doesn't mean that their beliefs are true, but it does mean that you have people there for people. When I was a religious person, we would bring, casseroles to people who had lost their jobs, families that were in hardship. And a big part of what we're pushing here is to grow and build those communities as well, because I don't think that just because you don't believe, you should be without a community, because you should. Everybody needs a place to belong.
Yeah.
Well, but I think the issue I see is that, it's not just the community, but I like what Johnny said when he put me on to the call, the metaphysical framework in religion will help. I'm not talking about Jordan Peterson here, but it's a really powerful framework to help you, I think, like rewire your perspective so to motivate you to deal with difficulty in life.
See, I think it's actually detrimental.
That, very perspective, yeah.
I actually think it's the other way around. Were you listening into earlier callers?
Yes.
Okay, so that example of the idea you're going to get $1 million on Friday makes you feel good,
yeah.
Right? Makes you feel good, but when it doesn't happen, it sucks. I think that you have a lot of hollow promises made in the Bible, and I think that it can be incredibly detrimental. When you're talking about grief in particular, there are a lot of people who will, stifle their grief because they're convinced that they're going to get to see their loved ones again. Ethan talked about that earlier on the show. And when you do that, you don't get the chance to actually fully grieve. There are so many people who, after they move out of religion, have to grieve again. They need to say goodbye twice to their loved ones. And that is so incredibly painful and so fucking unnecessary.
It is. It's a crushing feeling when you lose someone and then you have to think about losing them again. But from my perspective, like, holy shit, the appreciation of life changed so much when I became an atheist. I'm not saying atheism creates these other feelings. I'm just saying that's how my life improved, because I stopped worrying about something that could happen and started focusing on what did happen or is happening, and thinking about, like, wow, I had these great memories with my brother. I need to hold on to these, not sit here waiting to see him again.
Yeah.
Well, Ethan, but the thing is, like what you said is, the afterlife thing, right? But I'm talking about like the here and now. I think that is where the wisdom in religion, or I would say, philosophy in religion, is really powerful when it helps people through that. And I myself have that in me, so that's why I deal with it. It's not about, like where I'm going after I die, something like that. But
So let's keep that going. Let's analyze that. If I told people they were getting $1 million on Friday, I bet it would help them too. They'd feel real good, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
See, there you go. Why worry about making rent next week or next month, because you're getting $1 million on Friday. Gosh, I could help so many people.
Right.
Oh no, I'm actually making their lives worse because I'm feeding them a lie.
Well, Eric, if you don't mind, I would like to give you one example here, so maybe
Please,
you
go
can
ahead.
judge that and see if it help or not. I wonder, so there is a story in Taoism. I don't know if you heard that story. There was a farmer who had a horse, and one day when the horse ran away, his son cried a lot, and the farmer's neighbor said, offer their condolences. They're sorry, and the farmer said, well, we'll see about that. And one day when the horse came back, she bring another horse with her, and together they gave birth to mares. And the son were very happy, so he played with the mare, and then he fell down from it, and then he got injured. And people offer condolences again. They say, I'm sorry about that. And he said, well, we'll see about that. And then one day the emperor of the village want to invade another village, so they want around to recruit healthy young men to build an army to invade another place.
Okay.
And because the son is injured, therefore he's not recruited, so therefore he's safe. And then the neighbors congratulate the farmer, and then he said, well, we see about that. So the point in that philosophy is that sometimes things look like that, but it's not necessarily be so. So you have to, if you can look at a different perspective, you can see that sometimes things may be good, but not necessarily it's good, and vice versa. There may be blessing in disguise. Sometimes in misery there would be I guess you can say blessing.
Well, and I think that's a great thing to cause people to walk past where they can help and go, God's testing them, aren't they? I really don't need to help. I think, it sounds really nice. But the fact is, I'm not going to resort to lying to somebody to help them, because ultimately I need to respect the fact that they are able to, or at least give them the opportunity to understand the world around them. And just the idea, and I don't know if you're saying this, but I've had lots of people give that point. Well, religion, people should still be religious because it helps them. I disagree. And for those people who were comforted, because of their religion, I think community is fantastic. But I think if you're telling somebody that they're going to get to see their family again and you don't have any evidence to that, you are lying to them.
And I wish more people were accepting of the truth. To quote Wonder Woman, the truth is beautiful. And it can be at times hurt your feelings, but we should focus, in my opinion, as much as we can on truth and not believing bad things that we just want to believe. Or sorry, untrue things. Thank you.
Yeah, and that said, we back that up by wanting to make sure that we believe true things. We're constantly trying to analyze and disprove our own beliefs in things. We constantly investigate those because we don't want to fall back into those patterns. Right. It takes work. But Min, I hope that answers your question.
I mean, I totally agree with you. When religion hijack, the idea what I talk to you, and it's paint a picture about afterlife. It's really harmful. But I mean, other than that, I think it's really good, mental exercise to help people look at things from different angle, so they can cope with difficulties more productively. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, maybe in the short term, like I said, just because it would make someone feel good that I told them I was going to give them $1 million at the end of the week doesn't mean that, it's right. But If you're talking about, there are lots of places you can go with this. So if somebody's watching and they're thinking, wow, Eric's going to run up to a grieving widow and tell them that their husband is dead forever. Don't be an asshole.
Right.
Have conversations with people when they're ready to have them with you. Obviously don't be a jerk. But I just don't buy that I should let it slide. We should still keep pushing.
Yes. Yes. So Eric, so the last thing I want to ask you is, I know that you went through depression yourself.
Clinical depression. It never goes away. I wake up with it every morning and I go to sleep with it every night. What's up, bud?
So I mean, is it safe for me to assume that even though you have people around you who love you and support you, but
I can have the best day ever
by yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, it's something you have to deal with by yourself. You have to mentally frame your mind somehow to cope with it, right? And that's not something everyone can help. So that's why I think, this is where,
but give them the opportunity.
Religious parable come to help,
I understand, but I at least want to give them the opportunity because I don't think that I have the right to make a decision for them. I don't want to disinclude someone from the conversation because I think they're too dumb to get it, or that, the lie would be more important to them. That said, if you want to know how I get up in the morning, I remember something really simple, man. I'm not that special. And I'm not so special that I'm not so unique that my depression is something other people don't go through. And I'm not so special that the mistake that I made yesterday that I can't stop thinking about, that I'm beating myself up about, my neighbors don't even know anything about it and their lives are not impacted by it. Right. I'm not so freaking special that it's changing the world. I have an opportunity. The relationship that didn't work out, you're not so special that was the one and they're gone forever. That is a beautiful, amazing thing. It's a relief to know that the world isn't hinging on your shoulders and you have to carry it with you. But the fact that you're building it, there's an absurdism that I deeply appreciate. But that's how I do it. That's not how everybody has to, but that's what I do.
Okay, I got it. Okay, thank you so much for taking my call, Eric. Thank you, Heathen.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care, man.
It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, that was good. It felt like it actually, it didn't have a hard, like a weird end. It was a nice round call.
Right. And kind of going off what you said a moment ago about making sure someone's prepared to engage and engaging at their level and being a charitable listener. That is so important. And I kind of compare these conversations I have to martial arts. And here's what I mean. I did not have the necessary critical thinking skills to understand what fallacies, bad arguments or things like that were. I didn't know. Now, if someone, say, comes into the gym and they want to, hey, try Muay Thai out. Well, if I immediately just start attacking them with punch after punch after punch, they don't know what hit them. It's kind of crappy. So what I do is I recognize, okay, they may not have these skills. So I need to take them and walk them through from step A through B through C through D. It's just try and be as compassionate as you can when engaging with people and, respect their triggers or things they don't want to talk about.
Agreed.